Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Breeze, Breezeway Productions The Breeze, where we bring you the latest in independent films and film festival news. And we're happy to continue our coverage of this year's Harlem Film Festival, the 2022 edition, with the filmmakers here from the film Person, Man, Woman, Camera, TV. We have J Jannone and James L. Ward. How are you guys?
Good. Thank you.
Doing good, Alex. Thanks for having us.
Right on. Thanks for coming on the show. So tell me a little bit about Person, Man, Woman, Camera, TV. Whoever would like to take
go on, John.
Well, it was a COVID project. COVID had just hit, and we really, like everyone, were sort of in shock and wondering what was going to happen to the world. And we're very concerned about all the tumults in the American political and cultural landscape. So we wanted to make this film that somehow touched on all of these issues, touched on COVID, touched on Trump, touched on race. And Niav Conty, the director, had a script that she had developed for a short through a collaborative process a decade before. So we brought on Estelle Baju, the other star, who's not able to be with us today, and Jay to develop that short into a feature. And the feature tells the story of a couple who meet during Ebola and Obama and break up during COVID and Trump 7 years later. And so the film only shows those 2 days, 7 years apart, intercut. We see them meeting and falling in love. We see them after 7 years of a relationship and marriage. We see that, relationship crumbling under their own internal stresses and certainly the stresses that the nation is and was facing. So that's the film.
Right on. Well, my second question is going to have to be about the title, because it's very catching and very interesting. And when I was thinking about it, I was like, oh yeah, I remember when he was doing that, when they were questioning, I think it was Trump's cognitive ability, and they went in and did this test, and then it became like a super meme thing. So tell me why you chose that as a title.
It's a political film, but it's not a hit you over the head political film. It's really about this relationship. It's really about these people, a man and a woman. And their life is being captured by a camera. So we took the phrase as literal, person, woman, man, camera, TV, but also, of course, referencing, the fact that they do break up during Trump and during COVID. And as another part of it, Jay's character's father has recently died of dementia. So there is this question of cognitive decline and what is self and what is memory and how are we shaped by it that weaves its way throughout the film. So really, there's a lot of reasons why that title felt very appropriate.
Oh, I dig it. I think that it's really cool to see a film with that title. James, tell me a little bit about your character and your role in this film.
My character, man, is Sam. I'm trying to think of my character names. But you always forget character names. Like, what was my name in that film? But yeah, I was Sam. My parents had just died. Well, my father had just died. My mom died a few years before. And I was tasked with the job to come back to our family house, and just kind of siphon through all of the stuff that they had in there and try to get rid of it, sell it, what have you. And through that process, I met, Estelle, who was my character girlfriend, wife, soon-to-be wife, and it was kind of the thing. Was like, oh, you know how grief is. You're in the middle of grief, then you meet somebody. There's helping you. Her job was to help me siphon through all the stuff in my house. But then we just kind of came upon this kind of cool relationship, quirky kind of relationship. And we discovered a little bit of intimacy in that first day, to a certain extent. And for whatever reason, my character was in need of this kind of nurturing or guidance or love or care to take care of my, parents' place and all that, and wanting to discover about, my family and about my mother and father.
Sure.
And then from there, it just developed into this other thing 7 years later, when we break up. And it's just, the issues of breakups on top of the black and white issues, black man with a white woman. And then, again, what John was saying about the cognitive portion of it in reference to my father and stuff. And so, I don't know if I'm still staying on subject, but yeah, that was the gist of my character. And, being a black guy in the country, because, it was kind of in the country, and my parents living out in this place that was kind of not like a city urban environment, and just how am I adjusting to that? Yeah. And just, the interaction with Estelle, whose character was also named Sam, and just how eye-opening and, beautiful and needed it was for me and for my character at that time. And then it developed into something else. So, yeah.
Right on. Well, it's cool to hear about your character and how you dived into that and how it related to the dementia of taking care of your parents, and then the love relationship that take place over these two segments over 8 years. So you called it earlier not a hit you over the head political film. How did you, while you were filming this, walk the line to make sure you didn't go too far left or too far right to offend anybody when watching this, but then still convey comedy, humor, and keeping it light? Because that seems to be something very hard to do in politics and in any type of medium.
Yeah, I mean, it's really a story about relationship. It's really, the focus is always on the characters. And they are necessarily existing in the political situation, but they're not,
nobody's voicing any views.
Not really directly. I mean, even in the scene where Estelle's character is watching the Person, Woman, Man Camera TV clip, she's one can assume that she's disgusted by Trump, but it's never really said. And Jay's character's reaction is like, just turn it off, not turn it off because he's a jerk, but turn it off because, like, you just burned food, and we're like trying to sort through our relationship here, and that is a distraction. But at the same time, it's there, it's present, and it's there for a reason. Or in another like extremely edited scripts during shooting, Ruth Bader Ginsburg had just passed away, and there's just this one moment where Estelle is remembering something, and she's like, I saw this couple in the foreign food aisle, and it was the day that RBG died. Like, that's it. That's all that's there.
Just
or the fact that,
occurrences.
Yeah,
like
the movie
occurrences that happened in that world.
Yeah, the movie that brings them together is Dirty Dancing. On the one hand, it's a very light, fun movie. On the other hand, it's a movie about abortion, fundamentally. Never discussed, never said, but there.
Okay. So it seems like you're tangoing or you're dancing with a lot of different topics that are in the political spectrum, how people relate to it within their relationship, and then lives sort of blending together. Like you're saying, just turn it off. Are you reacting positively or negatively? It doesn't matter. It's about just reacting, period. So as you're saying, it's about the relationships of people within this modern world. So it definitely sounds like an interesting watch, and I'm intrigued by it. First the title, then the subject matter, and then talking to you a little bit more about it to just really dive in. So, I want to thank you both for coming on the show to talk about your film Person, Man, Woman, Camera TV, which just screened at the Harlem Film Festival. And is there anything you'd like to say to the organizers of the Harlem Film Festival for the official selection this year?
Thank you. We're definitely grateful and happy to be involved. And I live in Harlem, or at least used to live in Harlem. So I'm still got my Harlem roots. So I'm always glad and appreciative to be recognized by Harlem, for sure.
Right on. Where can people go to find out more about Person, Man, Woman, Camera TV?
Well, we're on Instagram and Facebook, Person, Woman, Man, Camera TV, the movie. And we're at the Harlem Film Festival through the 15th, and then we're going to be announcing other places to screen the film as the festival run continues, both on Instagram and on Facebook. Person, Woman, Man, Camera, TV, the movie.
Right on. Well, we'll be able to showcase those links below, and anybody that is curious about the film can go and check it out. And I want to thank you for joining me today, J Jannone and James L. Ward, for talking about your film, Person, Man, Woman, Camera, TV on The Breeze.
Thank you so much, Alex.
Thank you, Alex.